Hello YouTube and welcome back to the channel here today. Today we're here for two more episodes of Mushishi, episodes 18 and 19. Very excited to be back here once again for some more Mushishi goodness. Same as last week, no YouTube comments, so we're just going to kind of dive straight in and shout out the Patreon and stuff. So once again, if you want to see episodes 1 week early, Patreon is linked in the description below. $6 a month is all you need if you want two more episodes of Mushishi in your life. Many people have supported, and I'm very grateful to Mickey Babbers, AJ, Akomancer, Bananarama Hamadama-sama, Bisa, Capella, Chobo Ribby, Dapper Dwarf, Ed, Fancy Question Mark, Fleur Nightingale, Fruit, Gloriana Tenebrae, Glyke, Gus N, Hans Peter, Ika, Yako Yavnen, Jumby Boo, Joran, Kasogtha, Clem, Noster, Cod Begemot, Lick H, Lou, Master Detective, Miru, Minted, Mistake L Chen, Molly Weinberger, Mr. Maniacs, Nailu, Aussie, Parnik, Pencil Sharp 333, Run Lad B&K, Saint Lily, Sal, Sam1373, Skeleton, Tentacle Member, Waifu Overdose, Without a Net, Kelvin, Binshi, Aidan O'Brien, and Voodoo Chili. Thank you to everybody for giving me money. I enjoy the money. Mushishi is an episodic show. It is somewhat hard to set up. I don't think we have any really concrete lead-ins to another episode. It kind of ended all pretty cordially last time, if you can call it that. But I digress. I'd like to see that character again. I'd like to see, I'd like to see both those sisters again. I think that would be nice, but I don't know how likely that is. Either way, I'm rambling. Let's jump in here to the next episode, episode 18, right now. Radio, episode 18, up there, ready to go. 23 minutes and 37 seconds on this one, so sync up accordingly with your own copy. I have the psych version, so get that version if you'd like my version. If not, there's a picture-in-picture version in the description below. Version. Let's give this thing a 3, 2, 1. Radio, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, good. I was worried it didn't change it back again. No opening? Is weird too. Cooking? It's cooking? Interesting. Clothes that embrace the mountain. Well, you see the smoke, right? Who'd be burning charcoal up there? Cooking. Gotta eat. Absolutely. Mushi-Shi. In case you didn't know what you were watching. Why is it very ominous to me? I don't know. Thanks, I guess. Didn't we have a Kai before? Maybe I'm just making stuff up. Okay. Well, notably art teacher, we were looking at art in the start of the episode. Found this episode very early, hard to get a grounding on, really. Obviously, Ginkgo does a lot of the heavy lifting there of like centering the story. Dead tree, normally pretty ominous. When do I get to start painting? Ever? Okay, he's flogging plates. What's he doing? Is he painting? He's stealing old paint, maybe. Forbidden art. How dare you take the paint that you were going to wash anyway and paint something. He took the clothes off, very notably. Oh, okay, that was fantastic. I didn't realize he was doing that. What? You're not chill at all. I thought he was going to be chill. Oh, okay. Maybe he is chill. He just has a weird way of showing it. Sure. We'll take it. Well, you're out of a certain kind of paint. You have to buy your own paint? What fucking kind of school is this or whatever? So he pawned his fucking coat for paint to make a job? Okay. Okay. Okay, maybe you didn't pawn his clothes then. Yeah, sick, sure. Looks good to me. The life of a mangaka. There we go. He forgot. Is that the tension? Okay. He's sinking darts and just over life. but that's probably not great. I would be concerned. You can't really call home, which is the bad part. Naruhodo. Why do you say that? I feel like you're projecting. Okay, it might be starting now. Because here's the thing about the show called Mushishi. Generally there's Mushi, and generally there's a Mushishi. I think she's been crushed. Or your family has, maybe. I mean... Did you paint these backgrounds too? They're very nice. Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised. The colors here are gorgeous. He burnt it. I didn't see the letter thing coming. Cool, 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 cool. I mean, I know where this guy fucked up. I think. And now we're back here, are we? Huh. I know that guy. We should get that other guy that knew all the prices of stuff from a previous episode. Hook, line, and sinker. I like that pause there. That was funny too. Well, what's there for me to go back to? Just my job, man. A job that I can't do anymore because I don't feel it. Now, you should find new things to inspire you. That'd be nice. A fresh start probably isn't a bad idea. What's that? It's a bunch of carrots. Yum. Okay, maybe not a complete outcast then. Once again. Okay, so that's the auntie, right? Uh... That's terrible, man. What? But I'm literally here. It'd be way less work for you guys. Okay, well, give me a hand. Please? I'd like to learn. Wasn't that nice? Are we going to get a moment here where Ginkgo pops up with the thing and it's all very lovely? Probably. Ah, the smoke. Now three pillars of smoke. Oh no, they feel kind of like funeral pyres, no? Oh, there's four there, never mind. Still metaphorically, like rising smoke can be like people have died. Ugh. What the fuck? The sludge. What? Yeah, I thought it was going to be a lot nicer of a moment than it is, but sure. What's the soundtrack? Huh. Ubusuna. Mushi are native to areas? Okay, there's regional variants. Interesting. Well, yeah, that just adds credence to everything, really. Oh, interesting. I fucking love local produce. Hell yeah. You can have it, bro. Give me the kid. What's the condition? It's like add a shit. Yeah. So it's a different yeah. We made a forgery. I can still get my little money in the end. Oh, she loves it. So smart. I'm trying. Just give me a second. It was a good episode. It was very oddly structured. Basically, no Genko at all, really. The Mushi really takes a, you know, kind of it steps back a lot from it and lets other stuff take center stage. Um, it just felt like it could almost, divorced from time period, obviously, it could slot into almost any show. It's just kind of a story about how important your homeland is and your family and your hometown and your support network is to your passions. And reconnecting is very important and not getting bogged down in work and, you know, realizing what's actually important and whatnot. I guess the confusion comes in. Yeah, it's pretty natural for Mushishi as a show to have a character have a fall, think it's all very hopeless, and then rise back up out of it and find a new life and a new beginning and go forward from there. That's very, it's like almost every episode. Just Ginkgo has no part in it. He does it all by himself. I'm very proud of him. He didn't need the protagonist to tell him what to do. Yeah, I wonder where people land on that episode. It was good. I liked the story. What's next? String from the Sky. And yeah, we'll dive right into that next episode. Why not? Let's go. And there we have it. Next episode up there, ready to go. Same old with the subs. Picture in picture in the description below. Let's give this thing a 3, 2, 1. Radio? 3, 2, 1, go. Ooh. I almost threw up everywhere. That was terrible. Probably not a good look to start a new episode there. No opening last episode too. That was a bit odd. Maybe they needed the time. Maybe it was a longer chapter of the manga. It was pretty involved. It was a long-spanning story. He went to school over the course of ultimately 20 years or something in the narrative. So yeah, it was a big one. Now we move on to the next question, which is, okay, season 2, do we have a new opening then? You'd have to imagine so. The guitar work there is really pretty, though. The ocean? A pond? A lake? Fuki? Contract? What? Shoot your shot. Ah. Disgusting. That's very beautiful. I feel like he's missing the forest for the trees there. He's missing the Mushi meteor. Oh. But bye. It was giving me Your Name a little bit there, just the big kind of streak through the sky and the, girl in the kimono and stuff. I like this one already. I've always loved I don't know, like stars and young love and that kind of thing. Can the baby be quiet, please? Love the music, though. Yeah, what happened there? Fuki was chill. She seemed fucking awesome. Ingrate? A little bit confused on timing here. I feel like I've got it in my head, but I will neglect to explain it now. The scene back then at night. What the fuck? Okay. The scene back there at night happened before. So that happened that was like their first meeting almost. I thought it was like a flash forward and then he like forgotten her, but that's not what happened either. So right now this is the latest point in the timeline. You touched the sky string, Mushi, of course. Come on now. Sure. Yes, sir. Right away, sir. Why is he always so pissed? She looks like Mr. Burns in the X-Files episode of The Simpsons. Mm-hmm. Now just drink the thing. Come on now. I'll even cheers to that. Let's go. Mine tastes a little bit better. She's still a little bit apparition-y. Sure. So you will never get to see Bro again? Seijiro? Oh! I remember. Now see... You don't want to get too close though now. Ooh. Freaky. I guess, yeah. Sticky. Oh, kirei. It's very deep. I feel like you could take that a lot of different ways, that scene. Nothing there now in the sky. Oh, she's coming back. I remember. Well, let's go then. Come on. Get your coat. Well, we're only halfway through the episode, though. What happens? Why would I lie? Okay, there's the conflict. Well, it's great that we've hired somebody else, but could I potentially just have you as a partner? That'd be nice. Pop the question, big dog. Yes, let's go. Easy. Never in doubt. Do you reckon that's a good idea? She seemed to think it was a good idea. Alright, fuck off. Die. Kill, death, destroy, murder, annihilate, eviscerate. He'll warm up to it, he's chill. Sora. At least they got her shoes. Tempengusa? You don't know? Of course. Yeah. Oh, you want to... Okay. You want to see what she sees. Just keep an eye on her. Interesting. Mayoriboshi. That's what it was. Oh, it's like they're... Yeah, it's like they're fishing. That's cool. She went up the mountain, which is good too. She had less of a drop. Partially swallowed? Pause. Ooh. So he made her, like, corporeal again. What does she require, Genko? Okay, so it's emotional. I can love her. I better get to it then. I'll check on you in a bit. We'll invite you, bro. I'd like to imagine Gig who gets like non-stop wedding invitations and just doesn't show up. I don't know. They send him through the whatever it was called, the highway. Oh, letter. Way. Well, you didn't do a very good job, did you? Okay, tell him to fuck off. Really playing in some Monogatari areas there. Some of the stars and somebody getting progressively lighter. Ah, that's terrible. Don't do that. Don't, like, tie her up. That's not the way to do this. No. No, 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 no. It's a metaphor, not physically with rope. Exposed? Yeah, fucking drag him. You gotta believe. Believe in Christmas cheer. I don't think he's gonna believe, chat. Anyway. Okay, so it's a constant. They're still there. You just can't see them. Yo, okay, I like that. So take that same philosophy and apply it to her. Isn't that comforting? He's doing it. He's yearning. What is this? My happy ending? But we didn't care about them. She was always there, little bro. Now fuck off. Isn't that lovely? Fade to black and give me credits, please. Yes. First, like, happy ending in, like, ages. It feels good, man. It really does. I was instantly in on this episode, like, here. I was, like, ready. I was, like, locked in. I just had a lot of aesthetic things that brought me in, like personal enjoyment factors, even if that's a little bit of a lame way to put it. But it twisted and turned, and it threw me for a loop. I thought it was going to be sad, and then it was happy. I really liked the part where, again, the stars are always there, but the sun kind of, outshines them, so you can't see them, but you have to believe that they're always there. And again, tying that into this like unifying, calming factor between both Seijiro and Fuki. It's good. It's a very good episode. I probably prefer it to the first one here today. The first one, it's good. It's been a pretty heartwarming day. The last one was pretty heartwarming too in the end. Sometimes you walk away from the show and you feel like shit. Not today. I don't feel like shit's probably too strong. Just a little bit conflicted. What's next? A sea of writings. And yeah, plan is probably to come back a little bit later on today, maybe tonight, and record the following segment. So I'll see you then. But yeah, feeling good. It's lifted me up, much like that string Mushi itself. Very cool. And we're back. It's a little bit later that evening. 2 more episodes of Mushi-Shi in the book. Very, very good. I would say that the connective tissue between these 2 episodes are that they're both broadly pretty happy. And again, I've been doing this, I did this last week at least, where both the episodes were kind of a little bit in the mid-ground, like unsure how to feel about them really. I would say almost unequivocally, these 2 make me feel good by the end of their runtime. Obviously, again, in this first one, bad things happen. In the second one, bad things happen. But the resolution that we head towards by the very end is one that's broadly very hopeful and I don't know, made me feel all warm and fuzzy and stuff. Even the next episode, dare I say romantic, which is a different kind of look for the show, I guess. It's quite versatile. Once again, both the episodes are still very pretty. I will say from a character design point of view, and particularly between these two episodes, a lot of our male character designs are blending together a little bit. Probably even some of the female ones if I, lined them all up. But yeah, I mean, we could mix it up, or stand to mix it up a little bit when it comes to our generic male kind of main character guys in these kind of, little vignettes. They would be, just some different kind of guys. I don't know. Maybe this one's got like a shaved head. Maybe he's got a scar. I don't know, some other personal effect, an earring. Lots of stuff. I don't know. It'd be nice. But yeah, I mean, the backgrounds are undefeated in this show, so, like, it's kind of hard to be too critical of anything aesthetic. And I really like... There's a few character designs I like really, really, really like in the show, and luckily enough, they seem to be characters that are going to be constants. So again, Ginkgo's fantastic. Adashino's pretty good. I liked Nui when she was in the show. Yeah, there's a few more that I've shouted at over the runtime. It's good. Particularly in the second episode, I really liked Fuki's character design. I thought that she was very bubbly and quite cute. I thought that was nice. Her just being a little bit ditzy too is a nice point of difference. Again, a few characters are ditzy. I don't know. Episodes do tend to blend together sometimes with this show, and it makes me want to kind of identify them by their unique factors and how they stand out from the rest. That's what happens again when it's, an episodic show the way it is. You're just kind of looking for what's different between the episodes rather than... or other than just the Mushi and the general story and stuff. Probably leaning towards liking the second episode, episode 19 here a little bit more, but this one still is all very good. It probably has the better emotional moments, I guess you would say. So I'm going to put my hand up slightly too. I was having some technical issues. You could see me early in the first episode reaction kind of looking around a little bit. I wasn't paying a ton of attention to this first scene. This is all making a ton of sense now. So again... Ginkgo suspects that this kimono here has Mushi in it because he looks at the smoke on the painting, on the lining, on the inside of it, and he can see it like smoking and moving and stuff. He's like, that's strange. I'll take it off your hands. It's clearly got some weird stuff going on. And again, it's kind of just happenstance. I guess his intuition tells him it's probably important, but he's kind of just buying it to sell it to Adashino as well. So, I mean... it helps to be frugal, I guess. It helps to keep an eye out. I don't know, puts you on the right kind of path to get onto a side quest and whatnot. The episode's namesake are these clothes, the clothes that embrace the mountain. I thought receiving the clothes again by the very end of the piece would be a little bit more of an emotional moment than it is. Again, the implication is that the kid is his sister's kid, no? Like, she died in childbirth and the auntie's just been keeping it. Therefore, again, receiving the clothes that the sister made so very long ago, which also represented his connection to the land, as well as his connection to his family, which he'd kind of lost in his professional life, I guess you could say. I thought that would hit a bit harder, but I mean, it's still there in the subtext. I just thought we'd pronounce it a little bit more. We start early on here with a few introductions. We have a father here. I believe he passes away later on. A son and a daughter, obviously siblings here. He's looking up off to the mountain, sees it smoking, much like the lining of the clothes we saw there before, noting that it's strange that, it's smoking like that. We note that the gods may be eating, which isn't too dissimilar to what the explanation is. To be honest, I need to go back and reread what Ginkgo said at the end there as well. The Mushi kind of really takes a step back in this episode, if I'm honest. The smoking of the mountain in general is an interesting metaphor. It only pops up every 10 years, and it seems to come with a lot of change when it does. There's a sense of comfort when it's not smoking, and kind of brings forth, a different thing later on, right? And it happens in, again, 10-year kind of intervals. The smoke itself, I said, could be seen as kind of funeral pyres as well, that kind of thing. Cremations, just a little bit of smoke in the air. Generally can be seen as kind of that sign of death, but also of rebirth, things being reborn from the fire. Lots of interpretations. There's only a few brief scenes here between the siblings, but I feel like they do a good job here at showing the connection and showing the importance early on that family has for him. Now, I looked it up. I don't believe there has been a Kai in the past. I thought early on that potentially this was linking into something we'd seen before, but that was not the case. Anyway, context time. He's going to art school and needs to make himself presentable to be picked. Again, he's from this village. He wants to go to the city and become an artist. So good on him, and we're trying to make him, presentable as possible. There's a general theme between the two episodes here of disapproving parents. There's an implication here that the father isn't exactly on board with old mate Kai here becoming an artist, would probably prefer him to be, a farmer, ply the family trade, that kind of thing, stay put. But no, he's got ambition, he wants to leave and stuff. Obviously, again, similar thing next episode with the disapproving father in the intended marriage. And this is when we get into the cut and thrust of the episode, really, and how it stands very different from the other ones. It's a little bit more divorced from the whole Mushi-Shi concepts until a little bit later on, and is mostly just this story about an artist trying to make it and follow his passions, but also grapple with his origins and his upbringing and all those things, and not losing who he is and his initial inspiration in the, chasing of professional glory and whatnot. Once again, not exactly a unique story overall in the grand pantheon of stories, but certainly unique to Mushishi as a show. Again, as I said in the reaction, you could kind of slot this into many different shows and not change a whole lot other than time period. It's kind of a very versatile overall story there. Early on, it seems kind of the pits. He's just kind of washing up plates of paint and whatnot, and seems to be more akin to a slave than an actual artist. Not on the boards, not learning anything. Very frustrating. However, this presents an opportunity for Kai to steal some paint and to play his trade. And I like the setup here. This isn't a genuine attempt to show everybody his prowess and progress further. It's only by random chance that it's found and discovered. It's more just, again, I came here to paint. My family gave me the blessing to paint. I miss my home as well. I'm away from home. It's wintry here. It looks so very nice back in my village. Here's something that reminds me of home. I'm painting it on, something that came from those lands as well, something given to me by my sister. It's less, again, like he's proving himself, and more just something done out of passion. Again, something that he loses over the course of the episode. Again, look at the tears in his eyes here, man. Like if I can ever find it again, Jesus. There we go. He really cares about this shit. Blood, sweat, and tears. Is he putting those same blood, sweat, and tears later on when he's becoming a little bit more jaded and cynical and busy? Don't think so. Much like many other episodes in the show, the season and the weather are very pronounced in demonstrating things. So again, he's hanging out his clothes here, noting that it's getting warmer. We have a bunch of dead trees starting to bud again. It's coming into spring. Spring's new beginnings. Yeah, and it gets seen, and his life changes. It's a new beginning. Yeah, this grouch finds it, and I thought that this was going to be a bit of a face turn for this character. Not really. He kind of just isn't in it from here on in. He's begrudgingly respects the art and showing the kind of want to make more art and, pursue it, and the verve and the passion and stuff. So he invites him into the studio. I don't know, again, I thought it was going to be a bit of a, I'll show you some stuff. You're going to, I'm going to begrudgingly respect you later on. None of that. We don't really go that direction with the story. If we're trying to pinpoint where characters start to make mistakes, this is the first one. This is a very, very on-the-nose metaphor for him forgetting his origins and where he's come from and the people that, got him to where he is, right? He needs some red paint to finish a job, right? That a delivery date is upcoming soon, and he really, really, really needs some money to buy more red paint. So he pawns off his kimono. And then I think he says here that he's going to try and get it back. No, please, I'll come right back to redeem it. No, that's not really that then. Yeah. I thought that he would come back and buy it again if it was still up in the shop. But anyway, he basically forgets about it. It was a very important thing to him. It was the thing he drew his first painting on. It was a thing from his sister. It was made from the materials of his hometown. He has cast it aside for clients. That's not the way. That's not the vibe. And again, is punished in the narrative accordingly until he, remembers what's actually, good to him and worth it and stuff. This is when I'm once again reminded that this is a manga adaptation, and I'm getting a lot of mangaka vibes from it overall. Once again, between painting on the back of a robe and stuff, getting a bit of look back, which is something I've been referencing more and more lately. Maybe that film left a little bit more of an impression than I thought. I feel like we're who's the mangaka? Let me get a name. Yuki Urushibara. So Urushibara here is probably writing from experience and overwork and losing the passion and losing connection with family and friends and the people that inspired me to do this in the first place. It's also a mosquito in my room. Yeah, same. Likewise with the animators, a lot of overworked people in the creative arts everywhere. I can't help but think that this is coming from experience and resonating with the people making it. Another really obvious one here. So he just got paid, and a bunch more jobs came in, so he's gonna be busy. This thing's still hanging up in the hock shop. He could go get it. He's completely forgotten. Oh no, talk about missing the forest for the trees. This is one that comes back around later. He continually gets more and more mail. Generally the mail is just work stuff. So when he's busy, he just kind of burns it. I don't know, I don't need any more of that stuff. In reality, these letters are crucially important. Again, they could be many things. I think the one we shattered in the narrative is that Dad's died and they want you back home. That the sister's pregnant, that a landslide happens, that you're missing a lot of stuff. Like, your father and your sister have died by the time you get back to town. Like, you missed all that because you kept burning the mail. He's getting a little bit too big for his boots, I feel. I do feel like this is a little bit on the nose in the episode, potentially. He's just kind of sitting at a restaurant overhearing that, a certain village got crushed in a landslide. This is only pertinent information you would include in the narrative if they actually got crushed in the landslide. So the audience, instantly knows what's going on, and it becomes a little bit of a dramatic irony thing with Kai. I'm not sure I like that all too much. I would have preferred if we kept that a little bit more ambiguous. But then it's just random happenstance that he comes back and it's, there's been a landslide. Don't know how much I like that either. It's a weird one. I don't know how to feel. I guess it represents another point where he could have stopped and asked more. I shouldn't be worrying about such things. I'm so busy. I can't even check on my family to see if they all perished in a landslide. Very, very cool. This is one of my favorite scenes here in the reaction. We have kind of Kai feeling sick and fatigued. We see him, stop in the middle of doing his work. And yeah, without anybody to kind of lean on, he remembers how his sister used to care for him when he was sick. That's a connection to back home, and a reason why he should take a break and go back and see them and stuff. Again, ultimately it is a little bit self-serving. I'm only going back now, I remember, because, you cared for me when I was sick. Well, why aren't you thinking about that all the time? I'm sure he gets punished enough in the narrative for that. Anyway, there's also, again, he's losing his spark as an artist as well, as he continues to churn stuff out. He's overworked and doesn't have that same time to pause and have that passion grow and stuff. I guess he knows it too. It's selfish of me to only think about them now, but I want to go see them again. I want to walk in the scent of my hometown. Maybe I'll see my father there. Maybe he'll approve now. I can catch up with my sister. Even still, the framing there is kind of wrong too. His line there, once I see them, I'll be able to create good paintings again. Shouldn't be about the paintings, man. It should be about the connections. The paintings will just flow naturally from that. It's how art works. And I mean, I'll spare you all the details here once again. There was a landslide. He comes back. He finds it. The sister tried to send mail. He didn't open it. He burnt it. We saw that. And yeah, everything was swept away. I guess the other kicker is that, again, you're quite famous and well off now that you're this artist guy that's made it. You could have pitched in and helped the village, right? If you'd known that something had happened, but clearly you didn't. Dad killed in the landslide. My sister passed away in childbirth of this little munchkin over here. It's all just not good. I like the specific scene here of him kind of touching the ground upon learning all of this happening. The earth comes back around at the very end to become very important. Obviously, it was a landslide. That's linked in there too. I feel like it's kind of passing through my fingers and kind of draining away. It's all kind of in here with this little metaphor. I feel like an outcast in the place that I called my home for so very long. That's a terrible feeling. It's gotten across quite well. This is the point at which we jump back to Ginkgo and we see what he's up to, and it's a weird spot. I don't know what I would prefer. Do you want to put this after we just learned the rest of the Kai stuff again? But then does that feel too abrupt? I guess that eliminates the moment later on where Kai happens upon Ginkgo, which is, quite funny. I find that really entertaining, so I guess you miss out on that. Yeah, I don't like missing Ginkgo for so long, seeing him for a short period, and then going back away from him for quite a while as well. It doesn't flow to me. I like this guy too. He's got a bit of spunk to him. Again, VLC. There he is. I wouldn't mind seeing him again. He's like this, I don't know, cursed item wholesaler type guy. I'd imagine he has contact with Mushishi, and he tries to on-sell them to people and see what they're worth and stuff. Again, he seems to be knowledgeable of its kind of cursed status and its Mushi status, hence why Ginkgo's even here. And again, they haggle for a bit. It's pretty good. It's a good piece of it's a little bit light after everything that's happened, and I feel like that's a decent decision. Back with Kai now, and back to the depression hour. He's locked himself all alone in his kind of old family home. He's just kind of looking at the paint, looking at the supplies, and doesn't really feel like doing much of anything. He's, letting himself go a little bit. Some bloke comes from the town, says he needs to come back and paint more. He's not moving. He's lost the ability. He's lost the passion. He's lost the verve. He's lost everything. And I did say these episodes were happy. Don't worry. It gets nice and heartwarming from here, I swear. I really like the lines of, I've become a stranger in this home. These lands have become foreign to me. And I don't really fit in with the town. I've become an outcast. Again, it's, all that similar concept. But it really hits home how he feels and the mistakes he's made. The only kind of olive branch here, the vegetables given to him periodically by his auntie. There's an element of it being local produce too, which is very important. The produce of the land and the earth itself being integral to the plot of the episode. I like the sun just barely peeking over the mountain here as well, as things are starting to turn here for Kai. Even locking eyes with our little friend here, whose name I've forgotten. But, yeah, she's cute. I really like the voice acting again. I'd like to think it's an actual kid, and that always stands out as a point of difference. Toyo, of course. So yeah, he's starting to work the land a little bit more. Time is clearly passing more and more. He's making vegetables. He's feeling better, less dizzy, less overworked, less fatigued. Got that mountain air. And then again, tragedy hits all over again when Toyo says that Mum's not moving, or Auntie's not moving. Granny turned cold. And yeah, it happens all very quickly. Crucially here, Kai stands up and becomes a surrogate parent for Toyo. Again, we're going to send her off to the next town with her next of kin, but instead she gets to stay here in the land that she was born and the people she grew up with and all that other kind of stuff. And I guess that represents a point of respect whereby he starts to gain the adoration of the community. I want to keep her here. I'm not letting her go. I like this place. Once again, I'm going to stay here and raise her. I like this place. We all have a mutual respect of the same thing. Hence community. We like this place. It seems really obvious when you lay it out like that, but I just like laying out the character motivations. It's cool. It progresses well. It makes a lot of sense. Now, this felt like Wolf Children, which is a bit of a pull too, where again, there's a kind of, outcast person, not of a certain community, going out a certain place and I guess gaining the respect of the community over time through, gumption and stuff. I don't know. It's hard to explain, but again, it starts off and it's like, oh, what's she doing here? And then over time, it's, they're all a big happy community together. Another big recommendation too, Wolf Children's quite good, especially if you like this. Like, it's all basically the same. One part that's still eluding me on the rewatch a little bit is your whole deal. I believe you were denied some crucial elements of the land and stuff early on, and that's stunting your development, but it gets better over time. I don't know, she's kind of cute though, so we'll take that. She says it's yum. I can't help but agree. By the end of that montage, he's working the fields and communicating with everybody, and they're sharing produce. It's all very lovely before he looks up to the mountain once again and sees those kind of pillars of smoke, and he goes in to investigate again. He's seen them all his life. He kind of remarks that the mountains are back to normal. He always used to see them smoking, and now they're finally doing that again. So maybe that's more internal to him. Everything's all back in whack like it should be, hence I'm seeing the mountain like I used to. I'm in the place where I actually belong. I don't know, great reveal here of like some sludge being where the smoke's coming from and Ginkgo being inside. And yeah, perfectly explained with him being in possession of the robes and stuff. It's just good. And then we get Ginkgo's side of the story. So, okay, he's come over here because he needs to see where these mountains are. Obviously, he's got a tip off that they're over this general direction. He knows there's a Mushi in here. He wants to know the true nature of it. He's just kind of strolling along before the robe itself gets so heavy to the point where it drags him into the ground. Once again, it's nice to see Ginkgo genuinely surprised and taken off guard and stuff. It's good. It's a good look for him. But this also stands as a piece of crucial evidence for Ginkgo for what the Mushi in the coat were, which is an Ubusuna, which is native to this area. Not specifically that Ubusuna themselves are native to this area, but it's, you know, a variant of it that is native to here. So it always wants to come back to here is the point. So they're like mud-like guys, but sometimes when they're in the air, they look like smoke. So what he'd been seeing the entire time was Mushi. I hear there was a big landslide in this area. A large number of Ubusuna were probably swept away. Therefore, we're trying to call them back to where they're supposed to be. Oh yeah, first the crucial step of it kind of infecting this coat as well, and me like literally seeing it smoking out of it. That's all making a lot of sense now. So again, landslide here, crucially important for Ginkgo already, or even being here, I guess, and saying what he has to say. So swings and roundabouts, I guess. Once again, because of the construction of the coat, specifically using local materials, that's the reason why the Ubusuna even wanted to live inside of it. That as well as it looks like home too. That probably doesn't hurt. And kind of the Ubusuna in everything, right? If the plants grow out of the ground, right, they technically have small trace elements of it, right? Then we eat said plants. We, you know, farm and rice out here. We have small elements of it inside us as well. That means that certain people, based on if they eat the Ubusuna or not, are generally meant to be in certain locations because the thing likes to stay together. A weird connection that Kai here makes is it could have something to do with Toyo's development, which that's a little bit of a jump, but sure. Potentially it has, and you know that's what's stunting her. But yeah, I mean, let's feed her a bunch of local food and stuff, and maybe she'll catch up. Fair enough, decent, I guess, hypothesis. And from there, we kind of just have a happy ending already set up. Like, hey, he got his coat back. The daughter seems like she's going to be fine. He's just going to keep on living here. He's turned his life around and, you know, focused on the important things instead of pursuing, you know, his own, albeit, you know, ambitious personal goals. They're not important in the grand scheme of things. All that it leaves us with is our comedic end, right? Which is just Ginkgo scamming Adashino by telling him the exact same story and providing him with, I guess, the copy of it that isn't the real copy. Again, it was just the robe that he was wearing that day with the, you know, with the painting on it without all the additional context. Again, because you can't see Mushi, you're just trusting Ginkgo. Ginkgo fucking scams the shit out of you. The crucial element here being that he returns to painting again. You know, he was a prodigy. He was very well known. He was this famous tensai artist, of course. And now he's doing it again. That's great. He's overcome his fear and moved on with his life and is continuing to pursue his passion, hopefully in equal parts with devotion to his family and the land and the people that came before as well. Yeah. It's a nice ending, it really is. It's just lovely. Toyo asks him to paint some more too. That can be like painting together. Then, you know, she can, you know, learn from that too, become better at it. It's all just lovely. It warms the cockles, it really does. Now again, only criticisms of that episode are really structural, and even then they're kind of nitpicky. It's pretty damn solid. And not really criticism, but more an observation that it could be any other show, really. It doesn't have all that much to do with the Mushi. And I don't think the engaging stuff in the episode is really supernatural Mushi adjacent. I feel like it's all character-based. So, again, we're versatile. We can do that kind of stuff, I guess. It's also an element of personal taste, too, because I just love the aesthetics of this episode and the general story so much more. I really bought this relationship and I wanted to see them succeed. And that's all it takes sometimes. For I am an opinion haver and I am a personal enjoyment enjoyer. It's important to me, I guess. So just getting some context out of the way early, because it's stuff that gets kind of incidentally uncovered through the rest of it, and I don't want to really keep pausing. So here we have Seijiro and Fuki. Fuki is, I guess you could say, a babysitter for hire, but that's probably a pretty juvenile way of putting it. So this instantly tells us a couple of things, right? One, Mum's not in the picture for whatever reason. I don't really know why, but she's not here. there's really only the patriarch that we end up seeing. 2, if you're the type of people that hire somebody to take care of the kids, you're pretty damn important. There's a reason why she calls him Master Seijiro and stuff, right? And the dad seems pretty, like, well off and important too. Like, they might be like lords of the town or something. I don't know, it's feudal maybe. 3, this creates a class barrier between Seijiro and Fuki that needs to be overcome. Again, this is why I buy some of the dad stuff a little bit more than previous episodes where it's felt just a little bit on the nose and, convenient. It was pretty well set up, the, I guess, circumstances here and why there would be expectations put upon certain people and whatnot. Anyway, it's the end of her term soon, and Seijiro's shooting his shot, and we love that. He's, doesn't get the words out specifically here and now, but he will. Just trust the process. And I mean, she's kind of not stupid either. I'm sure she realizes that he was about to do something and then is kind of caught off guard by seeing this random string hanging down from the sky. Now, again, it's a perspective thing, but I thought that this was something rushing this way, like way, way up near these clouds instead of being, I guess, almost in the foreground. But yeah, I mean, she grabs onto it and she flies away. It's another vibe where one of them can kind of see the Mushi and the other one can't. It's just, it's this constant thing in the show of needing to trust each other and, seeing not always being believing and perception being important and whatnot. Either way, she grabs onto the thing and she fucks off and flies away. There's also the establishment here of him looking through the telescope and specifically looking for stars, something that'll come back in a lovely way in a little metaphor at the very end of the episode. So structurally here, this is where I get confused. I'm like, okay, well, she grabbed onto the thing and then clearly got kind of apparated away, like she's not here anymore. Then we cut to the past. So that at that point, her getting taken away is the latest point in the timeline. This is the earliest. We see kind of Seijiro's star hobby, I guess, come to the fore. Astronomy, right? Sure. That's a word. Now, in the episode, this confused me once again because I thought maybe we flashed forward in time, that these two had gotten together and that this was their child. That's not the case. This is the child of the family that she's still taking care of, and again, this is earlier in the timeline. It's almost like their first meeting as she's recounting like something about stars and whatnot, and he gets interested in such a thing. We see the early development here as well, that the stars are something of a comfort to her. She's taken the child out here to have a look at the stars in an attempt to calm him down and take him for a walk outside at night. When your kid doesn't want to sleep, you take him for a drive. I'd imagine it's a similar thing. And this is where the personal enjoyment factor comes in. We're playing this really sparse, really romantic kind of backing track that I quite enjoy. It's really interesting instrumentation, along with, again, the general theme of stars and astronomy and this kind of cute, really personal moment late at night. It's just my shit. That is my shit. And that's why, again, I have the general preference for this episode. So their shared interest here and their connection family-wise starts a small friendship that blossoms into something more. Again, before she gets taken away, before she flies into the sky, like she's holding onto a balloon. And in a very nice way here in the narration, Seijiro is kind of like, people didn't like Fuki in the village very much because she was kind of dumb, but she was really like optimistic. So, I mean, I guess we're just a village of like realists, sure. I guess that comes out in the wash too, because people say some dumb shit in this village. I'll hold you on that one. Hang on, we'll get there. At Seijiro's request, everybody's looking around at night, but they, pack it in pretty early. They don't have a high opinion of her. They think that she just ran off and didn't want to do the babysitting thing anymore, and now, we're left making up stories on her behalf. But just keep this in mind. You've already expressed the story to the rest of the village that she's been taken, in the air by a bit of string, right? She flew up and she flew away. And I guess I'll just do the payoff now, because when we get back here and she comes back to the village, right, and sees people, everybody's like, we don't believe you. We don't believe that that's the real thing that happened. It's like, well, we didn't fucking corroborate our stories. We both said something outlandish, separate from each other. Therefore, it's probably true. We didn't both come up with this scheme together. Why would we? Are you dumb? Anyway, that frustrated me a little bit. If I said there was a ghost here, in this house, right? And then somebody else, an unverified source that I'd never seen or spoken about on the subject, also said there was a ghost in this house. It automatically becomes more likely that there's a ghost in this house, especially in a world with ghosts in it. Anyway, I just wanted to get my rant out of the way. You guys are proper dumb. Either way, we know the story from here. Ginkgo spots her in the top of a tree, just kind of sitting there. It's where she landed, and gets her back down again and brings her at least back to somewhat normal health. Some of the effects stuff and blurs here and whatnot are really good at getting across the feeling that Fuki would be feeling. Again, disorientated, halfway between, again, that precipice of human and Mushi. Unsure where she is, unsure what to focus on. It's good stuff. It puts us in her headspace quite a bit. Along with that, we have her kind of glow going on, I guess you would say. Does a lot as well. Again, not of this world, apparition-y, just spectral. Lots of stuff. It's what she is. She's different. I'll reiterate my joke too. Put that stupid picture of Mr. Burns up there. That's what she looks like. I don't know. Shout out to The Simpsons, man. Especially with those eyes. It's a 1-to-1. Oh my god. So Ginkgo diagnoses her as being infected with a almost unknown Mushi, and he wants to investigate and get to the bottom of a little bit more. So don't know what I'm doing with the aspect ratio there, but anyway, can I get it back to normal? Thank you. Yeah, he's doing his like discovery stuff again, and you know, she wants to return back to normal. She needs to drink the green goo. Again, she's just adorable too. Look at her little reaction here. She gets all, you know, she doesn't like the taste of it, and more stuff like that in the show in general would go a long way, IMO. So over time, she improves. Her color gets a little bit better as Ginkgo continues over towards the village in general, I guess. Well, that's a fun detail. I want to get you to a village because you'll recover better when you're around people. I guess, again, your environment is very important to your perception overall. Again, just in fitting with the mythos and the world of Mushishi, IMO. These little details that are sprinkled in every now and again. Once again, really feels like it's pulling from similar points of inspiration to Monogatari. The presence of XYZ begets more of XYZ. Once you know about something, you end up seeing it more. There's this barrier between, you know, sight and not seeing things, and, you know, that almost gives it power, is that belief. That's, yeah, very, very similar. Almost like world-building systems, I guess. It's just the Monogatari has a lot more, you know, pedophilia in it. Anyway, I don't know what the joke that I was going for. Cut that, fine. Oh yeah, we do the whole Corky, you know, light vein river of light thing again from episode 2 and episode 12 and a bunch of episodes, really. Ginkgo once again is turning his back to it, not really looking at it, but still guarding it and guarding others from staring too much into it. Again, it's a thing that's always there. You're just perceptive of it now that you've kind of been infected with a Mushi. It's where she makes the discovery of what Mushi are, and, you know, the river of light being full of them. They're just like silly little guys that she likes. I don't know. She thinks they're cute. Again, just really hitting home these themes that we've seen before with the river of light. Again, don't stare too much. You'll become too accustomed to it if you think it's too beautiful. You won't be able to see sunlight again. You will lose your eyes. Lots of things can happen, right? You'll wade too far into the Mushi pool and not be able to, again, swim back out again. Much like Ginkgo himself, you must only stand at the precipice without being lost to the physical world, considering, again, your importance to other people in it. If you want to stare at something beautiful, there's also a river of light in the sky, which again comes back with the whole idea of this specific Mushi in the episode. But yeah, that one, it's at a safe distance. You can stare at that one as long as you like. It's quite beautiful. Now, this is very reminiscent of something like the Milky Way or a big belt of stars and whatnot. It just fits quite well. Again, the stars are the theme of the episode too, and the connective tissue between her and Seijiro. It's good that she stares up at those instead of, again, disappearing into the Mushi void down below. It's as though I'm looking at a reflection. They're similar, but not the same. It's almost like this river like flows through the earth itself and up onto the other side, right? And it's always intersecting with the earth and the sky. There's always kind of various energies going through different points. Once again, she herself is standing at this precipice too, between human and Mushi, between corporeal and incorporeal. it's a very well done scene. Visually stunning too. I'd love to see it in the manga. This whole as above, so below theme comes back later on when she can't be perceived. You know, it's that same thing with the stars always there during the day. We just can't perceive them. She's down here with me right now. I just can't see her. It's clicking very well in my head there. There was another element to this which I also forgot here on the rewatch. I didn't even know that she like lost her memories. Like, I should be more concerned about that stuff and what happened if she did have her own memories. But overnight, kind of sleeping and, you know, the medicine working its magic and whatnot, she finally remembers and needs to go back. Once again here, she's just a dead ringer for that. Anyway, I think that joke's really funny. I'm going to keep saying it. And yeah, as I said before, they're stupid, these townspeople. They're like, we've already moved on to a new babysitter and your excuse is dumb. Bye. It's like, shut up. Go away. Yeah, suck a big fat one, guys. I hate you. Shut up. And I mean, Seijiro is here to save the day, finally sees her once again, and wastes no time. Essentially just pops the question right then and here. So again, after losing her for some time, thinking that he lost the girl that he likes, he doesn't waste any time actually revealing how he feels about her. It's quite nice. I like it. I don't know, they're a good couple. Yeah, there he goes. Come back as my bride. Damn. That's crazy. It is very quick, but I don't know, she seems to appreciate it. At that point in the episode, I was like, well, where's the conflict for the second half? And then instantly this happens, and I'm like, there's the conflict. Okay, it's going to be a disapproving parent type story. Not my favorite in the world. It's a decent execution of it, I guess you could say. Oh, it only just clicked for me as well. She was talking about a comet earlier in the episode that had like a tail that went zh. She was clearly just seeing Mushi because she can see Mushi and he can't. Okay. So I saw a weird Mushi star that you can't possibly hope to see. That's funny. Okay. Anyway, we're explaining the deets to Ginkgo here. She motioned grabbing something in the sky and then was kind of whisked away. It is pretty intense, happens very quickly. And there's the name for it. It's a Tenpen Gusa, which roughly translates to Heaven's Grass, which we later, I think, call it a Wayward Star too. But yeah, we do the whole explaining what Mushi is again to this guy that clearly isn't caught up on the subject. I do like how he spiced it up a little bit with our, you know, descriptions of it. Born from yin, they gather at the border with yang. So symbiosis is what we're getting at there. One can't exist without the other, humans and Mushi. Once again mentioning a border, precipice, a constant theme throughout the show, I would say. I do like this line as well. Maybe I'm falling for Seijiro's little scheme here, but, you know, he says that I wish I could see what she sees. He doesn't start at skepticism, he just fully believes her. I guess seeing is believing. He just saw somebody go whisked up into the sky. Alright, he believes her. Believe women. Alright. He's a good guy, damn it. The advice here from Ginkgo is to continue to keep an eye on her, right? Because we're not out of the woods yet. The Tenpengusa, it flies through the sky and, you know, eats stuff. It's like a predator up there. It's like eating Mushi. Sometimes the sky gets a little bit sparse, so it hangs a string down and tries to catch stuff that are laying below. Sometimes it'll be animals. Most of the time he's hoping for Mushi. Sometimes he'll grab a human. Again, sometimes you'll see them as like, they're almost like shooting star adjacent, like shooting star jellyfish Mushi guys. The metaphor there we go for as well is kind of like a fishing line, and I feel like that's apt. We're just like, okay, I'm a bit hungry. Let's hang something down and see what I get. Yeah, I mean, humans would definitely have an inclination to hold on to such a thing and just see what it is, so lucky us, let's grab it, sure. But once again, we like reel in that line, and then the Mushi itself has nothing that it wants to eat. It doesn't eat humans, so it kind of just drops them. Fuki here was lucky enough that she dropped into a tree, but a lot of the time things just die. And as a matter of fact, she got very lucky. Either way, some of her was partially swallowed, and she got intertwined with this whole Mushi business. She's greatly affected. Bad stuff might still happen to her. That's why nobody could see her until Ginkgo helped. Again, he can see Mushi. Keep trying this medicine. I wonder if we'll ever set up this medicine at some point. It continues to come back and forth, right? Maybe we have previously and I forgot. Either way, Fuki requires more than just this medicine to return to being human again. She needs to be treated as such as well. It's also her perception too. She needs to want to remain to be human too. And yeah, you kind of need to help with that. You need to help her to, you know, see herself as somebody that wants to continue to live. You need to be by her side. You being her partner is a big step in that. Let's see what we can do, I guess. Obviously, from there, Ginkgo kind of fucks off. He can't stay in certain spots too long. He then gets a wedding invitation. I feel like this begs the question of, with however many people Ginkgo meets all the time, I wonder how many wedding invitations he ends up getting that he just doesn't attend the wedding for. I would imagine it's at least in the tens, right? He's already helped like 3 or 4 different couples in the show, and we're only getting a, slice. Sure. Invite him to the wedding, why not? Either way, there won't be a wedding the way things are going, because Dad keeps saying no. Because she just fucks off later on, and then Ginkgo gets a job because there's a girl that flew off into the air and was never seen again and stuff. So then he's like, well, I'm back. And immediately he's like mad. He's like, fuck you specifically, Seijiro. His perception and his kind of feelings here turn out to be way more important than I guess he bargained for. So over time, I kept asking Dad for approval. Dad kept saying no. Fuki was miserable the entire time, and she gets lighter and lighter as things are going on. Things aren't improving in Ginkgo's absence, I guess. I guess he's kind of a cockhead here because he's like, get down now. If you don't stop doing that, I'll never get Dad's approval. Stop doing that thing you're clearly doing on purpose. It's like, well, no, we can't. I can't stop it. It's just kind of happening to me. And again, a bit more support from you rather than blaming would be appreciated. And this is where he really starts to fuck up. Okay, stay right here. I'm going to keep trying to convince Dad. And I'm going to fucking tie you up and take your medicine and stuff. Look at her. She's all frazzled and stuff. This was never the answer, my friend. Don't tie her up. Bad. Terrible. So yeah, I mean, she, like, freed herself, basically, and has kind of been here the entire time, low-key, too, because she never really left the room. She's still around. So I guess that scene where she flew up into the air never really happened. I don't know, it's really hard to say. This is where Ginkgo's speaking some facts. You, above all people, Seijiro, were unable to accept Fuki. We saw that in the little flashback we had there before. It was, hey, stop doing this thing that's unique to you and be normal so Dad can give us, approval. It was never what she wanted in all of it. That's his mistake. That's his folly. And again, his ability to repair that and, learn from that mistake is the thing that ultimately gets him the happy ending in the end. And here's the big reveal. You can't see her, but Fuki's still here. Loved this kind of reveal in the episode. I thought it was great. So again, she's kind of disappeared from normal sight, become incorporeal, and because of your lack of belief in her Mushi stuff and lack of empathy and whatnot, you can't even perceive her anymore. So now she's back stuck being a Mushi and whatnot. No good. Once again, I like Ginkgo fucking angry here. I feel like he's like, you didn't fucking listen, you fucker. Listen here. She's only still around because she likes you. She's barely holding on. I need you to switch the fuck on and help me out here. I don't know, he never really gets that mad. And when he has, it's always really serious. So, I don't know, I like it when he gets a little bit gruff. Seijiro goes back to his happy place after learning all of this. Again, how can I believe something that I cannot see or touch or feel or any of that? Then he goes looks at the stars, again, happy place, and thinks back to another thing that he told Fuki in the past. Master Seijiro, why do you stare at the stars? Even when unpleasant things happen during the day, the stars never fail to appear at night. Again, just keep in mind we're linking Fuki with stars here. It makes me feel calm, and it also makes the little mistress calm as well, which helps. Because of that, the stars being comforting, I sometimes feel lonely when the dawn light appears and the one and only big star dominates everything, right? And of course, Fuki's a little bit dumb. Where'd all the stars go during the daytime? I'll give her a break too. She's like, it's the olden days, they didn't know. But again, Seijiro, fills it in here. They're still there, they're just invisible. Again, what a great moment. It's wonderful. It links perfectly into what's going on with Fuki. Even if the sunlight is too strong to see them, they're actually still up in the sky. Even if some other force is too strong to the point where I can't see you, Fuki, you're still ultimately there, and I need to treat you as such. Yeah, this is just all, it's hitting good. It's hitting real good on that rewatch, man. Once again, really romantic scene in Monogatari with the stars out and whatnot. It's not as good as that scene, obviously, but this is no slouch. More and more of this. If you can recommend me some romance shows with a general, like, kind of overnight starry theme, I wouldn't say no. I'd be into that, for sure, for sure. There's also an element of belief and kind of destiny to it, a la something like Your Name. There's a lot going for this episode, man. I really love it. So after that, Seijiro, learns from his mistake, repairs the errors of his ways, and has a wedding with nobody. But Fuki's still there. I believe she's still there. So she's there. The groom, with perfect belief, believed that the wife was there the entire time, that the bride was present. And everyone's like, this cunt's insane. But he's actually switched on. He's he's so good. He's elite. And you'll see me in the reaction. This show's kind of, trained me to be skeptical and always expect something sad and kind of somber to happen. I was just like, hooray! Happiness. I like happiness. So he ends up moving out of town. He's always seen conversing with a wife that isn't there. But as time passed, she's back. She came back. She was teetering on that precipice, of course, and is waned back over to our side. All from this guy's help. Thanks for giving us the pep talk, Ginkgo. They say that ever since that day, she's never disappeared again. And now they stare up at the stars all together, late at night, all romantic-like, and again, essentially, they just live happily ever after. Fucking hell yes. Yes, let's go. So yeah, hopefully I accurately portrayed how much I really, really love that second episode, man. First one's no slouch either. This show's good when it's, like, happy, too. They should do that more often. Not that, again, I'm explaining it like it's a show that bums me out all the time. That's not true. It's not like, oh my god, what's that show called? Takapi. It's not like Takapi or anything. But yeah, I mean, it's continuing to wear a lot of different hats and wear them very well. I'm continually impressed. I really am. And with that, we'll get out of here, of course. 2 more episodes next week. Please look forward to that. Please like the video. Please subscribe. And I'll catch you next time. See you later. Goodbye. Ciao.